Canon number 1055. Marriage. Gaudium et Spes 48. Marriage is a covenant. It is a contract, not merely, but God of a spouse, a relationship between husband and wife. There is procreation of child, upbringing of children, and imparting faith on them. This is permanent relationship. Gaudium et Spes 50. Children have to be strengthened both physically and emotionally. Whole round development is needed. Number 1056. Properties of marriage: unity, fidelity between man and woman. The polygamous marriage, one having many wives. Polyandry means woman having many husbands. Group marriage means 5 men, 5 women in a general way they marriage. Gay relationship, LGBTQ and plus. Indivisibility means can't be separated. It is intrinsic and extrinsic. When we say intrinsic, it is by spouses themselves can't separate themselves, and extrinsic means by outsider agent. By outside agent, by court, a valid agent provides divorce. In ratified and consummated marriage, which is celebrated in accordance with all norms that guides marriage, which is sacramental marriage, has absolute indissolubility. In ratified and non-consummated marriage, yet not sexually united, does not enjoy absolute indissolubility. Non-sacramental marriage has no absolute indissolubility. Outside agent, the Holy Father or Pauline privilege, or Holy Father can grant patron privilege. Number 1057. Marriage is brought about by the valid consent, free consent, lawfully manifested, one official witness, 2 other witness, it can be bishop or priest, the official witness, and 3 capable of giving valid consent. Number 1058. All can contract marriage. It is not prohibited by law. To marry is not an absolute right, but a conditional right. Civil law and church law can set limitation for someone whether to marry or not. Right to marry or not to marry is a freedom of choice of one's partner. Number 1059. Any Christian marriage, not only Catholic, where one is baptized by divine law or canon law and civil law is applied. Natural law is applied for those who don't follow any institutional law. Number 1061. Ratified and consummated marriage means marriage done with rules and regulations, and ratified and non-consummated. And third, putative marriage, that means celebrated but one party thinks it is invalid and other says it is a valid. There is dispute regarding the validity of marriage. Number 1062. CIC says law does not bind the person who has promised to marry, but if money has been spent, then the justice has to be done. But in CCEO, it is like mini marriage, where priest is involved in engagement, and if they want to break, then they have to inform the tribunal. The engagement is binding. Number 1063. Marriage preparation. John Paul II says, there need to have 3 stages of preparation. First, remote preparation. Second, proximate preparation. And third, immediate preparation, that means spiritual preparation or confession. Number 1064. It is the duty of local ordinary to react, to search out for the good preparation appropriate for experts and all. Number 1065. If the candidate is not received confirmation, then they need to receive at a time. Preparation is needed for confirmation. Parish priest can ask for faculty to confirm from bishop. Non-reception of confirmation does not invalidate the marriage like that of holy order. Number 1067. Prenuptial form has to be filled before marriage. No objection letter has to be filled before marriage. Baptism certificate is 6 months. Number 1068. In danger of death, if a person is not able to produce baptism certificate, if the church is burnt or flooded, then it can be seen according to the matter. Number 1069. The publication of bans. It is to know if there is any impediment. Number 1071. A person with no domicile, no permanent residence can't get blessing. Girl has to be of 18 years and boy 21 years. It is according to civil law. The church does not go against civil law. An impediment called public property. The person who abandoned Catholic faith notoriously means has done apostolate. A person under censure or excommunicated. Marriage of a person under age. Marriage entered by proxy. Canon number 1125 is parallel. In all these cases, one needs to refer to bishop, local ordinary. CCEO Canon 789 says viaticum is a condition of marriage. Not viaticum, it is vitetium is a condition of marriage. Example, A and B got married and marriage broke on the ground that A was mentally ill. The Anathen certificate is to ratify that A was mentally sick. So this case also has to be referred to local ordinary. Number 1073. Marriage is public versus occult in secret. Number 1075. Impediment arising from divine law and ecclesiastical authority. Number 1076. Impediment from cousin wants to get married but dispensation can be given. Number 1078. Dispensation is possible for certain things like either by apostolic see and local ordinary. Holy order, even in danger of death, can't be by local ordinary. The chastity, if a final professed nun leaves congregation and wants to get married. The holy order, chastity and crime. In this case, it is reserved for apostolic see. In danger of death can be given by local ordinary. Number 1079. Omnia parata. It means all preparation is made for marriage and then impediment arises then and there is no time to get permission for apostolic see. So So in that extraordinary situation, dispensation was given to be done in responsible way. It has to be recorded in archive. Number 1082. A cult has to be reserved or preserved in the sacred archive registered. A favored granted by competent authority of the rescript has to be preserved in Diocesan Korea. Number 1083. The legal age for marriage. 14 years in India and 14 year for girl and 16 year for boy according to Canon Law. But for in India, 18 years for girl and 21 year for boy. Episcopal Conference fixes the age of the marriage. Number 1084. Importance. The antecedent or before marriage and after marriage getting does not invalid marriage. Second, perpetual means curable or permanent. Third, absolute or relative. The impotence means organic sexual organs is problem. It is functioning but does not function. It is impotence is only for man. Into the female sexual organ, if there is problem, then woman, absence of vagina, or second, opening is so small that penis cannot enter into. If these cases are found, then no dispensation, even from civil law. It comes from nuptial law. It comes from natural law. The sterility. The person is potent, but they are not able to conceive. Called not impediment, may be not ovums. Number 1085. Even if one is divorced civilly, has to get annulment from church to get married, to produce burial and death certificate of the spouse. Number 1086. In the mixed marriage as an impediment, the disparity of cult, Catholic plus unbaptized of any faith, needs dispensation. In the mixed marriage, Catholic plus baptized, the sacramental marriage, it is called sacramental marriage. Non-Catholic Christian does not need dispensation but needs to declare that the child will be baptized on Catholic faith. Canon number 1025 also parallel. The dispensation, the disparity of cult, it has to take place in church but no sacramental marriage, no celebration of mass or distribution of communion, only exchange of consent and reading homily and nuptial rite, then photo session and thanksgiving can be done. 1087. Priest attempting marriage is invalid. Number 1088. The pontifical right for men religious has to seek to impediment, for women only one impediment. Number 1089. For abduction impediment there is no dispensation because one is not allowing other to enjoy the freedom. In Latin right, if man abducts, it is impediment, but CCEO both can abduct each other, can be impediment. Number 1090. The crime is an impediment. A plus B and there is C. If B is killed by A or asks someone to kill A, then B and C cannot be. Number 1091. Impediment of consanguinity, the blood relationship, to certain degree is impediment to marriage. Sanguinity means the sanguine means blood, the primary blood relationship. There is direct line, the marriage to mother, grandmother, ascending line, and descending line can be daughter, stepdaughter. There is no dispensation possible. There is also horizontal line, means after 4th degree, and no first degree, second degree means siblings, sisters, no dispensation. The 3rd degree, uncle, niece, auntie, nephew, many get dispensation for this. 4th degree, first cousin marrying, dispensation is possible. Affinity is a blood relationship which arises from the bond of marriage, husband and wife blood relationship. Direct line, marriage, marrying mother-in-law is not allowed. It is an impediment. CIC, wife who lost his husband can marry husband's brother, or husband who lost his wife can marry the wife's sister. There is no impediment. But in CCEO there is impediment. Number 1093. Public property that is illegal. Irregularity union. Married outside the church, civilly married, but from church it is invalid. So one party says, since church does not value my marriage, so let me marry another. If it is done this way, then it is impediment to the society regarding morality. Number 1094. Adopting parents and adoptee. If adoptive parents have allowed to inherit their property, then 13th impediment, CCEO. Number 811. The spiritual relationship, as relationship that arises from spiritual relationship. Example, godparents and godchild. Spiritual relationship, it is an impediment, can't marry. Number 1095. Marital consent. This makes marriage valid, so it has to be free and willingly. There are factors that can affect the validity of marriage. No use of mind or will due to underdeveloped brain. No sufficient use of mind or will due to discretion, lack of knowledge on marriage due to psychological defect, absence of use of reason. Number 1096. One needs to have minimum knowledge about the permanency of marriage. One should know the purpose, responsibility of marriage. If not, then the consent will be known as defective. Number 1097. Error of person. If John thinks that Julie is Indian, but actually it is an American, missing the recognized the twins. The error of quality. Jacob wants only virgin or with some types of body structure, but is cheated, then it can't be. Number 1098. Telling lies to get married, cheating by showing big buildings and salary. If here it is cheating to make consent, then it is invalid. Consent becomes defective. Number 1099. error should affect the will. Will decides whether to give consent or not. Number 1100. Robert knows that the impediment will invalidate the marriage, yet he marries and later there is a fight, so he says, I am not going to annul his marriage, so his consent will be invalid, so the annulment will be given for this. Number 1101. Simulation, the total exclusion of marriage, the partial one aspect of marriage, and getting married to American girl to get green card to America, or if the procreation is excluded from the scheme of marriage, is partial stimulation. Not believing in indivisibility and just walk away if not matched. All these factors affect the consent of marriage. It becomes defective. Number 1102. Condition on marriage is not allowed, but there is possibility on putting condition on past. If you complete your PhD degree, then I will marry you. This is the past condition. And present condition, if you are a spinster, I will marry you. Future condition, if you learn French in 2 months, I will marry you. This is impossible condition. Immoral condition would be, provided you allow me to sleep with your sister also. So no condition is to be allowed. I will marry you provided you won't ask me to produce children, etc. Number 1103. Force and fear, either physical or moral. No other option but to marry, then consent becomes defective. If the case of reverential fear, trying not to displease his parents and so marrying, then this becomes defective. There is no freedom to say yes or no. Number 1104. Proxy marriage. If a military is not able to come for marriage, then he can appoint one person to stand on his behalf. Condition, he needs to mandate from civil and church, telling that I am appointing a person in my behalf in this day, at this place and time, but in case due to some reason the appointed person could not reach on time and date, even the mandate can be taken back if the military feels that the wife will run away from that person. Proxy by interpreter, able to read sign language. Interpreter can use who is man of integrity. Number 1008. The canonical form. The official witness is one, that is bishop. According to CCEO, only bishop and priest and not deacon. And there are 2 other witnesses. They can be lay people, it can be male and female. They can be of any other faith, not only the witness from laity. It has to be in the church, oratory, or any fitting place. Same date, place and time. Number 1109. The territorial jurisdiction for one's own subject and non-subject, provided one get no objection certificate in produced from one's own parish. Number 1110. Personal parish. It is applicable for one either group to decide one parish as personal parish. In this, parish priest has wider jurisdiction Like for example, Lepcha community in the Kolkata has one parish that they can be living in the different places, or the Malayali families in Calcutta having one parish example. Number 11, general delegation. The faculty can be given in writing, then the person who receives can delegate the other person. Subject delegate, but one who receives subdelegation can't subdelegate to someone. Only a person having a special faculty delegation, either orally or written, only can give subdelegate. Number 11-12. If for a long time, for years, no bishop or priest or deacon is seen, then a laity can be trained for officiating wedding to conduct properly. Number 11-13. All the documents are to be available. Number 11-14. Freedom has to be assumed to both, and also parish and also priest should be satisfied that both are willing to marry with full freedom. Number 11-15. Marriage has to take place in proper parish, but if not suitable place, then can go to some other parish provided the parish priest allows them. Number 11-17. If a person has given up faith, then he has to be treated as unbaptized person. A person marrying Muslim has to go to Muslim faith, living Christian faith. If he comes back to Christian faith, then needs to restart reciting Nicene Creed and confession. Number 11-18. Baptized Catholic and other Christians' marriage has to be celebrated in church, oratory, or other suitable place. Baptized Catholic and baptized non-Catholic, from other denomination, this is called mixed marriage. And the disparity of cult, one is Catholic and the other is non-baptized, of other faith, other religion. In the case of disparity of cult, there is no mass to be celebrated. If celebrated, then a special permission from the local ordinary is needed. Catholic has to declare that they will follow Catholic faith and bring up children in Catholic faith. If marriage is solemnized in Baptist church, then the canonical form of marriage is missing. The pastor has to give marriage certificate to Catholic for record in the Catholic Church. The celebration of nuptial rite, mass up to homily, then marriage ritual, and then end. There is no communion and Eucharistic celebration. Number 11-20. If possible, there can be rite of marriage according to country custom approved by Apostolic Conference. Number 11-21. Place of marriage, date of marriage, groom's name, surname, address, occupation, bachelor or widower, etc. has to be filled. From bride, groom, name, surname, address, occupation, widow, banns, dispensation, witness plus name, surname, address, signature of witness and parish priest signature. All these details are there in marriage register. Fill all these columns. Parish priest duty is to register also in baptism column. Number 11-22. Married couples marriage has to be registered in the register of the baptism, in both marriage register and baptism register. Number 11-23. Marriage or annulment has to be entered in the register of both the places of husband and wife. Number 1124. Without the permission of bishop, the mixed religion marriage can't take place. Catholic party has to declare according to number 1125. 1125. Catholic party has to make a declaration first that he is prepared to keep up their faith and children brought up in Catholic faith. Second, the other party has to be informed. Third, both party has to be instructed about each other's promises. Number 1126. Bishops' Conference to find out way and means as to how it can be carried out. Number 1127. Priest and pastor both can't assist in the same marriage. There has to have only one official witness. Parish priest has to finish all the rituals first, then pastor can be invited for blessing. Now 1128. In case of mixed marriage, the parish priest has to see that they are in touch with spiritual activities, or else then in chance that would be lost. There is chance that they would be lost. Number 1129. This is applicable also for disparity of cult. Number 7. The secret celebration of marriage. Number 1130. For grave or urgent reason, local ordinary may allow for marriage. They need to be asked privately whether they are married and not in public. The marital status has to be found whether there is any impediment, and if has to be recorded in Diocesan Korea archive, not in parish register. It will be known only to bride and groom and the official. Number 1133. If it causes scandal, then local ordinary is to reveal it is public. The effect of marriage. Number 1134 to 1140. The permanent and exclusive bond is the marriage, the unity, the name, and the man and woman only. The bride and bridegroom only enjoy the equal status. Children to be taken care, upbringing of the children in all aspects of life. Putative marriage is one party thinks marriage is valid, another thinks it is invalid marriage. The children are legitimate both after 180 days of marriage. Outside this period, child is born, then child wouldn't be considered illegitimate. After divorce of 300 days, child will be considered illegitimate. How to legitimate the illegitimate child? They need to get rescript, the favor from Holy See. The dissolution of bond, divorce, dissolution and annulment. It is done in valid marriage. Civil or church authority breaks this bond. Divorce is a valid marriage separated by civil authority. Dissolution is valid marriage dissolved by church authority. Annulment is invalid marriage, so it is declaration by church authority that the marriage was invalid for these reasons. Dissolution first, ratified and non-consummated sacramental marriage. Second, ratified and consummated the natural marriage, and Holy Father can dissolve this bond provided proofs are given for non-consummated. ratified and consummated can be dissolved. Ratified and consummated can be dissolved by two ways. One by Pauline privilege, second by Patrine privilege. Privileges of faith. Pauline privilege. Privilege of faith. If there are two Hindus married natural marriage, then wife becomes Catholic on the account of husband departs from wife, leaves and goes for committing adultery. Instead of his wife goes to some other woman. There is physical departure and marital departure. He says, I won't allow you to practice your faith. So marriage is broken. She wants to marry a Catholic by using the Pauline privilege, but she has to go through interpolation, that is investigation. Husband can be asked if he wants to follow Catholic faith. If he says yes or no, at least allows wife to practice Catholic faith. Wife can be allowed to get married with a Catholic boy by getting civil divorce. Then automatically previous natural bond is dissolved. It is possible in natural marriage, and one receives baptism and one departs. There is physical and moral departure, and there is investigation between. What is Patrine privilege? Ram and Radha, two married, the Hindu naturally married, non-sacramental marriage. Then Rajesh and Radha. Radha wants to marry Rajesh, who is Catholic, and Radha, who was Hindu. Then the Catholic and Hindu, they broke their civil divorce. Then Radha wants to marry Robert, who is Catholic. So in case he can recommended the Holy Father to dissolve the bond of Radha and Rajesh, provided Radha was not the cause of the breaking of the previous marriage. Neither Rajesh was involved in the breaking of the marriage. Non-sacrament does not enjoy absolute indissolubility. It can be dissolved. Holy Father can dissolve the bond. It will be sacramental marriage. Can many only baptized. The natural marriage, two unbaptized people, non-sacramental Catholic and non-baptized, marriage breaks. One of them want to marry a Catholic, applied to the Holy Father, asking for dissolution of bond for the sake of the faith. Church accepts the sanctity of natural marriage. The condition, but not civil divorce. The condition, one who wants to marry a Catholic should not be involved in the breakdown of that marriage, nor the Catholic who is going to marry is involved. Baptized and non-baptized. Catholic party wants to marry, he is allowed only to marry Catholic because he has already married. Disparity of cult. Condition that he or she is not cause of breakdown. There is no reception of baptism and penitence. Number 1148. Polygamy by a Hindu who is having 4 wives and wants to be baptized. Then he needs to keep only one by choosing one to solemnize marriage in the church. Other he has to dismiss and give justice or polyandry. A Hindu woman having 4 husbands has to do same like husband, and it is applicable in Africa. Number 1149. An unbaptized person, for example Radha, he wants to get married with baptized person. If he comes, then back to civil law has to be applied. one is absent for 7 years, then the wife can marry the another. Number 1151. Separation while the bond is existing. Both the parties are allowed to live separately, temporarily or permanently. It is possible on the ground of adultery, physical torture, mental torture, or salvation of soul. One can ask for temporary separation on the ground of adultery, provided one is not committed adultery. Condition for separation temporarily officially is in adult. 1. No facet condition. Knowingly having sexual union after knowing that one is adulterous. 2. Provided one is not in adultery. 3. Provided one is living separately. 2. In case of spiritual and moral physical torture, it is different ways, including children. Then there can be permanent separation. Bond remains intact as a valid bond. This is possible also in civil law. Number 1156, Chapter 10. The validation of marriage. The validation, convalidation or ratification or regularization. Once one knows that marriage was invalid, we can go for a ratification. Why marriage was invalid? It can be lack of consent or defect consent. Marriage can be invalid. There can be lack of presence of impediment, and there can be lack of defective canonical form. Convalidation. Going through new marriage, spouse have to exchange consent. Example, Catholic and Hindu got married in the temple. It is not canonical forms are allowed. Not canonical forms are there, and it is disparity of cult and it is impediment. So parish priest has to get dispensation and solemnize in church according to Catholic form. Girl has to bring affidavit, and there has to have no objection certificate. The date of solemnized marriage will be valid date of marriage. Retroactive convalidation. Robert is Catholic plus Radha is Hindu. Married civilly is not ecclesiastically valid due to the lack of canonical form. These couples want to recognize their marriage in the church, then they have to get dispensation requesting to have validity of date of civil marriage. Approach from ecclesiastical authority to get dispensation of disparity of cult and canonical form. Write the date of civilly married date, not recent. One called retroactive convalidation. Also, church considers valid date in this case. Civil marriage needs 3 witnesses. Marriage dossier, boy and girl belonging to same parish. Baptized, the baptism certificate not more than 6 months older. Then prenuptial inquiry form, marriage pre-course certificate, the publication of banns, boy and girl from 2 different parishes. Both have to get no objection letter for marriage from parish priest. Letter for publication of ban is in both parish. Report of the bans if any objection is there. The above mentioned certificate are also included. In mixed religion, letter from pastor is needed. No objection. Publication of ban and result has to produce. Permission from ecclesiastical authority because it is impediment. The previous certificates are included. Disparity of cult marriage. Baptism certificate of Catholic party, prenuptial will be filled by both partners. Publication of bans, same diocese don't allow. Catholic has to declare, according to number 1125, Hindu has to get court affidavit, which will be name, age, religion, occupation, Aadhaar card number, phone number, residential and nationality and all this. Non-baptized party has to declare she or he never contracted marriage either religiously, socially or civilly with any other way before. That person is willing and is freely, is knowingly, with full mind and heart to marry so and so person without force or fear of inducement from anyone or any institution writing to men to marry in the Catholic Church according to the Catholic rite. Without this, court affidavit is not valid. If she is married, has to be mentioned in affidavit, then only priest signs. Affidavit should not be more than 6 months older. Number 1166. Sacramentals instituted by church, no member. 1 receives grace through intercession of the church. Number 1167. Only Apostolic See can introduce new sacramentals. Example, John Paul II introduced luminous mysteries in the Rosary. In celebration of sacramentals, one follows prescribed things. Cleric can administer sacraments. Lay people can administer sacramentals. The situations lay people can conduct even marriage and baptism. Number 1169. Priest can give apostolic blessing only. Bishop, deacon can permitted only allowed by church blessing with blessed sacrament. Bless and consecrate are needed to have apostolic character. Blessing primarily to be given to the Catholics and Neo-Catholics. Non-baptized can be blessed if things have faith and ask for. Number 1171. Sacred objects to be treated with reverence. Example, baptismal font, not to be used secularly use, even belongs to the private person. 1172. No one can exercise exorcism unless allowed by bishop of diocese. Number 1174. Clerics are obliged to recite the liturgy of our members of the religious institute apostolic life. Seminarians are invited to do for our sanctification. SC number 95 to 100. Number 1175 SC Sacrosanctum Concilio number 88 to 94. The canonical hours, morning and evening. The church, the funerals. Canon 1176. Church prayers, hours of body and bring to the living confront hope. The criminalization is not encouraged because of the custom. The resurrection of the body, not criminalization. Cremation is not encouraged because of the custom, the resurrection of the body. Number 1177. Funeral mass should be celebrated in the proper parish of the deceased person, but in case of one to do in other church, provided parish priest has no objection. If a person dies in some other place from his parish, then the dead person can be buried in the death spot parish unless there is other law of the diocese. Number 1178. Bishop's funeral has to be celebrated in cathedral or other suitable places if cathedral is small, unless bishop chooses to be buried in some other places, not in the sanctuary but outside the sanctuary. Number 1179. Diocesan tax, funeral tax 200.